Covering the Universal Orlando Resort for 6 years, you are listening to the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 252 of the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. I'm your host Tracy, and with me I have Lee.
Hello everyone!
And that's it, because we have a special guest, and I shall get to that in a second.
Go on then.
A bit of blurb first.
All right then.
Yes. So, as you all know, Universal Orlando Resort officially unveiled its brand new water theme park, Volcano Bay, to guests on May the 25th. The reviews have been interesting, to say the least.
Yes, watching them from afar, they have been.
Yes. Now, Darren and Hunter will be visiting the park to check it out for us in a month or so, once everything's finished and the park is fully operational. But in the meantime, to discuss the grand opening and his thoughts on the park, we'd like to welcome our Little Things producer, Mr. Seth Kubersky. Hi, Seth.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me back on. It's nice to get to talk to you for a little bit longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we need to mention that we have been plugging that Jim was supposed to be on. We're not quite sure what's happened, but Jim hasn't...
He's not available.
We can't get hold of him, so...
It happens.
Perhaps Jim revealed some secret about a theme park, and he has been spirited away to a dark room under the utilidors.
Yeah.
Well, it had to happen someday.
He's in blogger/podcaster jail.
Bless him. Right, so shall we begin straight off? The grand opening event?
So, Seth, obviously that grand opening event was a 3-day thing. So what other stuff, other than like Volcano Bay, did they give you any sort of anything else to... Was there any big major announcements that more Potter, or was it all just Volcano Bay?
There were no major announcements made. They started out by giving us a tour of the new towers at Cabana Bay. And those 2-bedroom family suites are gorgeous. Cool. They showed us one with a view of the volcano, and it was simply stunning. And the room itself is great. It's in that same mid-century modern style as the rest of Cabana Bay, but upgraded just a little bit in all the details. Some fun artwork, great color schemes, more roomy than my old condo. And the price is significantly less than what you would pay for a similar room at, like, say, the Contemporary.
Wow. How many rooms does that take Cabana Bay up to now, then?
Oh, boy. I think that's another 400 rooms in the tower. I want to say that brings them up to 2,000.
That's impressive.
That might not be the right number. I'm just shouting it off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
You can correct me later in editing.
Because I know they really pushed it. I know when we spoke to Russ Dagan when we were over in Orlando in 2013. I know their aim at the time was to get 15,000 rooms on site.
Well, they're inching towards it. They've got Aventura coming. That's going to give them a few hundred more rooms across the street there. And what are they talking, up to 4,000 rooms on the Wet 'n Wild's plot?
Are they classing that as resort then?
From my understanding, it'll be value, but it will still be part of the Universal Resort.
It will be interesting to see how the sort of join the two, as it were. Because it's
what kind of transportation beyond busing?
Hot air balloons.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yes, I'm throwing that out there.
This is where if Jim was here, he'd come up with, well... and he'd know all the rumors behind it.
Anyway, so for Volcano Bay, we got that tour of the new rooms at Cabana Bay. There was an optional VIP tour that took people all over the parks, and saw the Jimmy Fallon attraction again for any of the media who hadn't been there for the opening of that earlier. Okay. And then there was a full media day at Volcano Bay itself, the day before the grand opening, and then a VIP part of that night that was supposed to be at Volcano Bay, but was moved at the last minute indoors to the Sapphire Falls, where the media was staying. because of bad weather.
Yeah. I know from watching the grand opening, it didn't look. It looked like had the potential to be quite nasty. It didn't, I don't think, but
it was a moody sky.
It was quite grey.
No, got extremely lucky on both days.
Yeah,
there was rain on both days, but like for the media preview of the park, it was kind of overcast and a little threatening to rain in the morning, and it held off the whole time the media was in the park. The media was scheduled to be there until 3, and at 3:30 it just let loose. So that was pretty impressive timing. And the same thing in the morning. It was looking like rain for the grand opening ceremony, but it held off just long enough.
So on the day you did the media preview, then Seth, how many people do you reckon were in the park at that point?
The media preview day was probably only a couple hundred. That was just the media. And it was glorious because they got a lot more of the park open and ready for us than I expected. The day before, when we were day before the media preview, when we were looking out the window of Cabana Bay and just seeing this army of ants in construction hats swarming over the park, more construction workers scurrying in more different directions than I've ever seen. And we're just like, what's going to be there tomorrow? Are they going to even be able to let us in? And, at 10 a.m. the next day, the whole park wasn't open. There were sections that were fenced off. There were whole areas of cabanas that were just frames. There was a section that they were still pouring concrete. But I was shocked at how much of it was ready and open for us. On the media preview day, I got to do almost all of the slides, including the Krakatoa Aqua Coaster, which I was shocked was ready because I had heard that they hadn't even been testing it yet 24 hours beforehand.
That's a little worrying.
Tested it on press preview day.
Seth, you're the guinea pig. Crack on.
It wouldn't be the first time I've been a guinea pig for an attraction. I don't mind, if I'm gonna die somehow, might as well.
It might be interesting, yeah.
On a theme park attraction, let's be honest, it seems fit.
The lazy river wasn't ready on media preview day, but it was open late in the day after opening.
Right.
So I got to do all of that. I still haven't done the mat racers. Those did eventually open up. But I got a chance to try everything else in the park. And just seeing how quickly that came together was absolutely shocking. It was really an amazing effort. Having said that, they still have a ways to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I'm sure when we get into sort of talking about the operations of the park, we'll get into a little bit later. We've already kind of sort of scratched it when we've been talking beforehand, but it's been, it's an interesting state of affairs. I mean, we kind of mentioned it on last week's show, Seth. Do you feel that they potentially should have pushed the opening back for this? And do you feel the reason they've pushed it to get it open this weekend is to compete with Pandora?
As far as I remember, they announced their opening date before Pandora's, I think. I have to look into that. I seem to remember the media invite for Volcano Bay coming just before the media invite for Pandora. Either way, I think that they knew they wanted it open for the summer season, and Memorial Day is Memorial Day weekend, no matter what Disney is doing. Universal has a long history with attractions getting an opening date set all the way from the opening of Universal Studios Florida to Gringotts, where they open even if they haven't had the kind of soft opening period that they really needed to work out the bugs. It's unfortunate, but they also have marketing campaigns and corporate stones and all sorts of things that go way above the heads of the people who actually build the park.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
They kind of put themselves into a position with having been selling tickets for quite some time now that, people could buy tickets for that weekend, and so they have to open it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Otherwise, if they turn around that opening day and say, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to come in because it's not open, that's going to, regardless of whether it's a safety thing, because I think a lot of people don't look at it that way. They just go, oh, well, I've paid my money, I want to be in that park. And it's like, look, we can't let you in because we don't feel it's safe. It puts a bad taste in people's mouths.
Sure. And to be clear, I never felt unsafe in the park. I never felt like, I joke about being a guinea pig, but I never felt like anything was dangerous. I grew up going to Action Park in New Jersey, which is notorious as the most dangerous water park ever.
Okay.
So I know what an unsafe water park looks like. This is not it. All the slides are from Pro Slide, and they're the top of the line manufacturer. When you go to IAPA and you're looking for the biggest booth of water slide manufacturers, this is like their catalog of all their newest stuff brought to life. So it's not stuff salvaged from Wet and Wild and then slapped back together again. Yeah. I don't want anyone to think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
But the fit and finish, the polish that makes something a world-class experience is still a work in progress. And if I was king of Universal, I still would have opened the gates and I still would have charged people money, but I would have said this is a preview period.
Yes.
And we're giving you a ticket to come back free anytime later this year. Some other way of compensating people who are basically, because what they are being guinea pigs for is the Tapu system.
Yes.
Yeah.
A ride management system like that lives on data. It needs lots and lots of data of how many people want to go on a particular slide, how long it takes for people to get through a particular slide, whether or not they come back for their reservation. It needs all that data in order to allocate capacity.
Yeah.
And until then, it's just guessing. It's just using, dummy data that they, hopeful data. And until they have real data, it's not going to work the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. So they just need people to be patient while that's being collated, don't they?
No, we expected it. It was never going to come in and be 100% efficient from the word go.
No. And remember, Disney's Magic Band Fast Pass Plus wasn't 100%
No,
efficient.
it's
So a
true.
lot of people would argue it's still not 100% efficient. Disney had the fortune of not having to open a brand new park using it from scratch, that they rolled it out over a series of stages over many years. Whereas Universal is, pardon the pun, diving in head first.
It is because they've never even done anything. You think Disney sort of introduced, you had the RFID in your tickets and stuff before they introduced Magic Bands, so they'd already kind of been testing that, whereas Universal haven't done anything like this, really.
Sure. And I will say the RFID side of Tapu worked great for me. They detected at touch points just as fast as Magic Bands, and they look prettier with the little colored fiber optic display. The display was readable for me. I didn't have any problems personally with it falling off. I heard some people do, but now they give you a little extra rubber band to keep it secure.
Okay.
The only, I'd say that the technology of the device itself is fine. It's the back end software that's running all the queue management that still needs work.
Yeah.
The Seth, the wristband itself, how did that feel when you were wearing it?
I honestly, by the end of the day, I didn't really notice it.
Right.
It's a little bulkier than a Magic Band. I don't currently wear a watch, but I've worn watches before, and it's kind of like a bulky watch. But the band itself was soft. It didn't irritate my wrist. I didn't have an issue with it.
Did it feel secure then? Because I know a lot of people complained about the first magic bands that if you sort of flung your arm out, they had the potential to come off. I suppose it's different being in a water park.
I feel like the Tapu Tapu has like a double row of little teeth that you snap together, and I never felt like it was coming off. But like I said, now they're giving them an extra little rubber band that keeps it tight. So yeah, I didn't have any issues with that.
Yeah. 'Cause I don't like things tight around my wrists, so that's been my only concern about the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't see what else they could do, really. They needed some sort of system to allow people to be able to pay for things, and obviously, they've seen what Disney are doing with Magic Bands, so bringing in some sort of virtual queue system, they had to do it at some point.
Look, in a few years' time, we'll all be microchipped. This won't be a problem.
Yeah,
right. I suppose. Universal has experimented with face recognition for Express, which is kind of creepy Minority Report. But I suppose that if you really wanted, you could strap the tapu around your ankle or some part of your bathing suit that's not going to come detached. But I didn't have a problem with it, and I don't have like a sensory issue.
Yeah.
I think if someone had like a real sensory issue about things touching their wrists, there's a lot of little questions like that should be covered in the rider's guide. They have those for people with disabilities for both the other parks. And the last I checked in with them, they still hadn't made one up for Volcano Bay. It's in the works, and another sign that they, kind of were racing to the finish line to get this open.
Yeah.
I specifically had asked about it for size limits, weight limits, because there's some people who are concerned about, am I going to be able to ride these slides? And I got most of the information just by walking around the park and taking photos of the signs at the bottom of the slides. They do list all the limitations there, but it would be nice for people to be able to go online and see ahead of time exactly what they can and can't do.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have to get Maureen. I'm sure Maureen will be interested in that.
Yeah.
I know, I'm surprised Tracy hasn't brought it up, actually, Seth.
Not yet.
Germophobia
Tracy,
stuff.
what's wrong with you?
She doesn't like germs, basically, and her issue is, how do they clean them things at the end of the day, and am I getting somebody else's sweaty tapu?
I was coming to that, but I was building up so I didn't sound like such a freak.
Are you talking about the locker room?
The tapu.
No, the wristband.
Oh, well, they're returned to you. They're made out of like an antibacterial rubber. I suppose that they're about as well cleaned as the 3D glasses are.
Oh.
Hopefully slightly more.
I'll be carrying a lot of hand sanitizer around.
I'm sure if you wanted to wipe them down with antibacterial, you can go right ahead.
But when they've been in a pool full of pee for a few weeks, it won't make any difference.
Right, not just pee, but the mountain. The water is all pouring down that gorgeous sculpted mountain, which inevitably will start to shed paint and concrete and grow mold. That's just nature, right? You can't have water running over rock that long without some erosion. So that should be interesting, how their filtration system keeps up with it. I know that one of the issues they had with getting the lazy river open in time was dirt from the landscaping making its way into the river and needing time to be filtered. So this is Universal's first experience with running a water park, and they're going to learn all sorts of things.
Well, that was while we talked about the lazy river and the crazy river. We weren't talking about the crazy river, but we mentioned the rivers. I find it weird, and it's one of those things that I've seen a lot of people bring up, is that they make you wear a life jacket while you're in a rubber ring Is it both rivers, Seth, or is it just the crazy one?
No, the lazy river, you do not need a life jacket. The crazy river, you did have to have a life jacket during the preview and opening day. I heard that that's supposed to change. I don't know if it's changed yet or if it is going to change, but I heard that it wasn't supposed to be like that permanently. Now, when I wrote it, the Wild River was really not all that wild.
Right.
There were no, white caps. Like Aquatica has a wild river that I think's got a little more kick to it than what I experienced.
Okay.
But I also heard that they haven't turned it up full blast.
Right.
So that's another thing that we got to wait and see. I was more. I was not crazy about the life jackets. In fact, we had to go to 2 separate entry stations to find a life jacket that fit well. So I hope they do get rid of those. But I was actually more disappointed with that the lazy rivers were not as well themed as I'd hoped.
Right.
There's some fun props and stuff at like Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach's lazy rivers. I know that there's some stuff that's supposed to be activated by the Tapu Tapu that wasn't working yet. So there are some statues and stuff, but especially the Wild River, it doesn't at all look like a natural river. It's these sides, hard flat tiled sides like a swimming pool, and it really doesn't have that immersive theming to it that I was hoping for. The Wild River goes kind of underneath the slides that are on the blown out side of the mountain, but doesn't have any interior show scenes. And the Lazy River side has one short section where you go inside caves. And, there was concept art of a Stargazer cavern with stars in the ceiling. I didn't see anything like that. I saw a brief cave section with fairly low ceilings, and it was not long enough to block out the daylight, and I didn't see any kind of lighting effects. So the park hasn't been open past 8 yet, so it's not. It hasn't really been open past sunset. So maybe when they start staying up till 10 o'clock, that there's some lighting effects in there that'll open. But most people will drift through there and just see some cave work.
Do you think they're going to allow people on the slides and stuff past dark then, Seth?
Oh God, I hope so. They've been selling it as that's what it's intended as.
It just seems a safety hazard. I don't know.
Just because the sun's gone down doesn't make it. If it's safe during the day, it's safe at night.
But it's that
go
lifeguard
tell
thing.
all that people who were at the big Gay Days party at Typhoon Lagoon that went till late the other night. They have lighting. They can light up a water park just like they can any other park.
Yeah, it's like stadium lighting, won't it?
Yeah. They have lighting towers for the wave pool. I'm sure that they built this place with the intention of being able to be open past sunset.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of their selling points.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back a little bit then before we get into the park a bit proper, because we kind of gone. We had all this planned out and then it's kind of gone off. Yeah, kind of.
I ruined all your plans.
No, it was just as much me as well. The actual grand opening event, Seth, what did you think of it? We've kind of briefly talked about it before we started recording, but because we said Bill Davis looked really awkward.
Well, I think those events are always a little bit awkward, but I got to give props to the entertainment team and the production team. Friend of mine, Anitra Pritchard, worked on that opening. And then on the production side, Jeff Hobart worked on that, and the VIP party, which was amazing. The VIP party the night before, they had to move indoors, and they did an incredible job. Those Maori performance artists from New Zealand who participated in the grand opening, those guys are the real deal. It was really exciting to see them in person. They performed at the VIP party the night before, and they were doing their martial arts routines about 6 inches from my face, which was pretty cool. We actually had a Pandora. Disney was having a VIP party for Pandora at the Contemporary at the exact same time. and we actually had people leaving the Disney party and coming over to the Universal VIP party because they said it was better.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Universal does throw the best VIP parties.
Yeah.
Gotta give them that. But I thought the grand opening was fun. What I especially appreciate about the grand opening is that they had a online lottery and had a few hundred Universal Orlando annual pass holders out there. And they got out, they had to get out there at like 6 a.m. because, the Today Show was there and there's security and all sorts of stuff. So if you're ever invited to a grand opening to participate in one of those things, it's not all glamorous. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. I think it was cool that they got a few hundred of them in there. It was cool to see all the ones that I talked to around the park were really excited to be there.
That's it. I think when you look at annual pass holders, they're Universal fans through and through, and they're just excited to be at the park for that opening day. Yeah,
well, a few of them have their annual pass so they can complain about how they're not going to renew their annual pass. But the majority of them are just, we're really excited to be able to say that they were there for the grand opening. I had to get on the bus at 7 something that morning, for the media, but it was worth it. Getting to see, that ceremony with the Maori tribes people paddling in across the wave pool and the Krakatoa erupting water. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It looked amazing.
I
enjoyed
really
watching
cool.
it. I was desperate to be there.
I'd love to be at the opening of something. We've never managed it yet. We've been sort of within a few months of a new ride opening, but never to actually be the day of. It will happen at some point.
One day.
Doesn't listening to the crew at UUOP every week make you wish that you were actually at Universal Orlando Resort? Well, stop wishing and start doing. Mouse and Muggle Travel Company is the perfect place to begin. Their team of concierge-level travel planners will help you every step of the way. And for you Muggles who also love the mouse, their team of experts specialize in Disney destinations too. And the best part of all, their services are free to you. So, if you're ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, let Mouse and Muggle Travel Company do all the work for you. Just go to mouseandmuggle.com and fill out a no-obligation quote request. Or send an email to info@mouseandmuggle.com. And remember, whether you're a mouse or a muggle, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company can help make your next vacation simply magical.
Right, so let's get into the park itself specifically, Seth. So, what I wanted kind of to do to start off with is getting from from the parking lots at the parks to getting to Volcano Bay itself. How sort of easy was that?
Well, okay, if you're staying on site, it's great, especially Cabana Bay. You can walk right in, and the other hotels have a direct shuttle bus. If you are parking in the parking garage, they've expanded the parking toll entry to have dedicated lanes for for Volcano Bay.
Yeah.
And they send you straight to the first floor of the right-hand parking garage. So that is also where the buses and the security and the ticketing. I actually found it smoother than parking the garage and walking to the parks. You don't have to walk down any moving or non-moving sidewalks to the hub. There's a lot fewer people going, so security was a breeze. There's a bunch of automated kiosks if you need it. There's a ticket desk. And the buses, there's always a bus coming right behind the bus that's loading.
Right.
A lot like how Cabana Bay has a really steady stream. It's not like Disney where you're sitting and waiting 15 or 20 minutes in between buses. So I timed the ride over at just about 4 minutes. And they show you a video on your way over that kind of introduces you to the park, and it's animated with hieroglyphs in this. They've used that in other videos online. So it's basically an introduction to the park and to what you can do with Tapu Tapu. So you get to watch that for about 4 minutes on the bus ride, and then you're there. And the tunnel that takes you underneath the road and up to the entryway of Volcano Bay is really gorgeous. Really nice stonework theming, these overhead lights made out of shells, and these skylights with intricate carvings. Really great introduction to the park.
It is. We watch videos of it, and it does look stunning.
Yes, our kind of place.
I'm a little worried what happens when a torrential downpour comes through there. How good the drainage is there. I have not heard of anyone drowning there yet, so we'll see.
Quick question about the buses, Seth. I know when we first started talking about it, do they let? Obviously, you take your stuff with you and you get changed in the park. So coming back to your car, are they allowing people to get on wet?
I see. Someone asked me this. I slid, I walked in my bathing suit from the slide through the front of the park to the bus. By the time I got there, I was 95% dry.
Right.
So I think that there's no like inspecting people to see if they're wet or not. They're hard seats. They're not fabric seats that are going to absorb moisture. And they're the buses that just have a row of seats on the outside, and the majority of the inside is standing. So with the overhead straps.
Yeah.
So if you just want to stand because you don't want to sit on a damp seat, you can do that too. And like I said, the ride there and back is less than 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's probably doesn't take much more time than finding your car in the parking lot at Wet and Wild on a busy day was.
Okay.
But when you think about it, though, you're not going to sit in your car soaking wet, so you wouldn't actually get in the bus soaking wet. And most people are going to get changed and have a locker in the park. I would get dried off.
You could, but you might get those people that just want to leave, literally just put a pair of flip-flops on and the shorts and go over and take nothing with them.
Well,
because you wouldn't
there should
need
be a
to.
dress code, because you wouldn't be allowed to walk through certain public areas in your bathing suit, like in a bikini or something like that, really.
I've seen people in the
I know, I've
parks
seen
wearing
people in
just
worse.
bikinis.
But, there's probably going to be some sort of dress code, I would imagine.
Between the parking garage and Volcano Bay, that's an excellent question. I don't know if that question has come up, and I'll see if I can find out the answer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Trust us, it British to come up with these type of questions.
The British prudes.
How dare you show your naked flesh to me while I'm walking to my car?
Is that an ankle I see?
Speaking of which, the lockers are really easy to use with the Tapu Tapu.
Yes.
Excellent.
I think it was, we watched Tim Tracker's video, and they got like one locker, but you could register like two tapus to the one locker, can't you? Which is cool.
You can assign it to multiple people in your family.
That's really
handy when
good
you've got
idea.
children that are going, Mom, I want so-and-so at the locker. And you've just got yourself comfortable, which is always the case.
Yeah.
Fine.
Plus, you don't have to remember your locker number.
Yes.
You just have to remember which station, and it automatically pops open for you.
Because it's like you look at the ones in the parks, those thumbprint things, especially the ones they're a nightmare. Them things.
No, the only one I like is the one at the Hulk, because it just scans your ticket now.
Yeah,
it works a lot quicker.
Yeah. So right, we're off the buses and that entrance. Once you get underneath that underpass and you do that little walkway up the side, the actual entrance to the front of the park is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they have done themselves proud with how beautiful the entrance to it, let alone the park itself.
Oh yeah, there's these great little bubbling fountains underneath the the sign that spells out Volcano Bay, and it really feels a lot more like you're going into a nice resort in the Caribbean or in Hawaii than going into a theme park. In fact, the way the whole entry plaza is set up, it's more of like a concierge style. Like there's not ticket booths set up with queues in front of you. That guest service and stuff is pushed all off to the side, and the stations where you get your tapu look more like a hostess stand.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you buy your tickets back before you get on the bus to the. Or can you still buy?
Yeah,
them?
they're doing everything. You can still buy them there, but they're doing everything to get you to either buy it online or buy it before you get on the bus, or do it at your hotel.
Well, that makes sense because then it keeps the actual entrance to the park free, where you're actually just walking up, tapu, and then you go.
Yeah.
And it also, they're also encouraging you not just to buy your ticket, but to register an account and get your tapu set up ahead of time, to try to keep that line moving. The 2 days I was there with actual guests, not counting the media day, the tapu procedure actually went really smoothly. If you're already registered for it, it's like 10 seconds.
Awesome.
And if you aren't, they really don't need that much information. It's like an email address. They need to know if your birthday, if you're over 21, and that's about it. You can register your credit card, and that's optional. But once you register your credit card, like if you're an annual pass holder, you don't have to update it every time.
Yeah, because I know I'd heard someone else talk about it, like who sort of were worried about issues of what happens to the information on that tapu at the end of the day. Because obviously, if your credit card's registered to it,
well, your credit card isn't registered to it. Your Universal account is registered to it for the day, but you have a PIN number associated with your credit card for any purchases.
Right.
So even if someone was to get a hold of it before it was wiped at the end of the day, they would need your 4-digit PIN that you set up.
Cool. Yeah, because I know that's one of the things a lot of people have talked about, because if the team member forgets to wipe it...
That could be dangerous if you didn't need a PIN number to buy stuff.
Yeah.
And you just accidentally waved your arm around and all of a sudden, discovered you'd spent $500.
Yeah, because I suppose it's different with the Magic Band, because the Magic Band's yours, isn't it? You take that everywhere with you, so unless you lose
Correct.
it, I don't know how that works.
Right. Well, even with the Magic Band, you still need a PIN number to use if it's associated with a charge account. And both of them, you can go online and instantly deregister a lost device.
All right, that's good. Cool. These are things we need to learn. So going into the park itself, Seth, where shall we talk? Let's talk slides first. How did you find them? You said you weren't particularly a water park fan.
I'm not hugely a water park person, but I really enjoyed I'd say all the slides were better than average, and a few of them are some of the best slides I've ever done. My favorites, obviously, let's start talking about the Krakatoa water coaster.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of similar things. There's the Aqueduct on the Disney cruise ships, but I've never done a slide that was this long, this fast, had this much up and down, and even airtime at the peak of hills. It's really an epic water slide, and the best water slide I've been on.
Cool.
They've got something similar, haven't they, over at Typhoon Lagoon, the Crush and Gusher? But
they have the Crush and Gusher, but the Crush and Gusher is really not that thrilling.
Right.
They don't use the technology to its best effect. This truly is it feels a lot like the Matterhorn at Disneyland or Walt Disney World Space Mountain in terms of those sharp dips and quick hills and tight turns. It really it's a great thrill ride, and it's long. It's about a minute and a half, which is huge for a water slide.
It sounds ridiculous when you say it's long and it's only a minute and a half.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of roller coasters that are only about a minute and a half long. There are very few water slides that are more than 30 seconds or so. The only problem with the aqua coaster is I feel like the rumors, the hype, were that it was going to be more than just the world's greatest water slide, but it was going to be a dark ride, that it was going to have some sort of theming or special effects or show scenes, something to elevate it above just a really great water slide. And it does not. There's no kind of soundtrack. I will say that the canoes that you ride in, the 4-seater rafts, are themed to look like tribal canoes, which is pretty neat. But there's no soundtrack. There's nothing like a storyline. Certainly, there are no figures animated or static along the track. There isn't a pitch black section where you have a projection effect or a set to look at, anything at all like that.
Yeah, because I think when Universal mentioned the water theme park thing, and then they kept a lot of the secrets for the Krakatoa Mountain, the volcano, that everyone was expecting some sort of highly themed attraction.
I certainly was, and this is where I get into my quibble with the calling it a water theme park. I think it's a really wonderful, highly themed water park. But for a water theme park, I was looking for just one dark ride experience, or some way in which the storytelling, and they've got a huge backstory about the Waturi people, and every slide has a completely unpronounceable name.
Yeah.
And if you look on in the press materials, there's a long story about the justification for every slide, but none of that actually comes across in the slides itself. Unless you read this information online, it doesn't impact the actual ride experiences. The closest it comes is on the 3 capsule drop slides, where you hear pounding drums before the floor drops out from under you, which is a great little moment. And I wanted more of that. I wanted more props. I wanted the slides to maybe not just be solid colored plastic, but to have some texture painted, onto them, or, theming over them to create a more realistic or a more immersive environment when you're on the rides themselves. As you're walking around the park, it's as well themed as any theme park. But it just kind of breaks down with the rides themselves.
You basically wanted something just to elevate it above your common or garden water slide.
Having said that, though, they're really fantastic slides. Like I said, the Krakatoa coaster is the best slide like that I've ever been on. The 3 drop capsule slides from the top of the mountain are just breathtaking in every sense.
Yes, I watched some POV videos the other night, and there's one of them specifically, the one that goes through the pool at the bottom.
Oh, yes.
Now, being slightly claustrophobic, even watching that video made me slightly nervous.
To be honest, I did it a couple times, and it feels like about 4 or 5 seconds of free fall. I know it can't possibly be that long, but it feels like more free fall than you get on, the Tower of Terror or Doctor Doom. But you're so immersed in water and the sound of the water rushing through your ears. I could barely open my eyes either time. All I saw was a clear blur. And then all of a sudden you've got water up your nose and you're lying on your back, and you can't believe that you've survived.
That sounds very similar to my experience on Summit Plummet.
Yeah, I've done Summit Plummet many times. I found this more intense. Summit Plummet's a little more visually intense because it's open and you can look down and see it. But in terms of the physical experience, this is like being shot downwards out of a cannon. However, it's over so quick. It's survivable. The other two,
It's a good selling point.
the other two almost killed me. And
Wow.
I can't tell you which is which with their jolly pirate nicknames that they came up with. But there's the green slide and the blue slide that are the capsule slides that are intertwined.
Right.
They're both intense, but the green slide, I can't take full credit for this. I overheard someone say this, that it's like the Incredible Hulk coaster of water slides.
Okay.
Because it shoots you out of the capsule into these tight turns and drops. And just when you think that it's almost over, it somehow gets faster for the last 50 yards or so, till it just shoots you out the tube at the end. It just shook me. It was absolutely wonderful. The other body slide I got to do was the Oh Yeah and Oh No.
Everyone remembers their names.
Yeah, because that's clever, because it fits with the theme, but it's also something that you can actually pronounce.
Yeah.
You know, everything else sounds like a bad Star Trek villain. So those are fun. They're not worth a long wait. They're short. But one drops you about 4 feet above the water, and the other drops you off 6 feet above the water.
Oh yes, yeah.
You actually feel the extra 2 feet.
Right.
You accelerate a surprising amount in that last 2 feet. But that one was fun, but not on the same scale as the other slides that they had in the park. The other raft slides that I got to do, there's one pair called Maka Pui, which translates to wet and wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
The wild side, the Pui side.
That's such a bad name.
I just want to say that over and over again.
I know.
So the wet side it's like a 6-person raft, big circular raft that you all sit with your feet in the middle, and you go through a series of tunnels and tubes, and you go past these big geysers that spray water on you. Cool. And it's got a couple fast sections, but it's not too bad. It's pretty family friendly. The other one, the Pui one, nearly made me pooey. Because you come out of the first tunnel, go in a pretty good clip, and you look ahead of you, and all you see is I-4. You see a sharp bank turn, and you see the interstate right below you.
Is that the one that's got like the big wall? Is it?
Yes.
Like turns 180 degrees.
There's another one. That's another one.
Right.
This is kind of like a half pipe.
Right.
But it looks like you're just going to do a little ski jump off of the slide, and you come right up to the top of it, and then you slip down the other side and kind of wash back and forth a couple times. And you do that twice, and every time, I thank God that they weighed us at the top of the slide, because as I was walking back up for another ride, this big wave of water comes down off the top and hits me and the ride attendant. Lands right at our feet, and she says, "Oh, that must have been a heavy one." And all I can think of is, okay, if water comes off when it's a heavy boat, if it's a really heavy boat, does the whole boat come off? Because that's exactly what it looks like it's going to happen. So that is the second scariest ride in the park, to be honest. Those drop capsule slides are thrilling and really intense. But as long as you can hold your breath, you don't feel like you're going to die. Whereas in this one, it really looks like you're going to, be reenacting the opening scene from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Yeah. Where he jumps out of the airplane in the inflatable raft. The only thing that scared me more than that was the Hona slide on the opposite side of the park, and that's the big blue one.
Yeah,
that's this giant wall of death. You just come hurtling at full speed. Again, a multi-passenger slide where you get teamed up with other people in a circular raft, and you just come full speed at this giant wall. And you go up completely vertically, and you hang there like Tony Hawk for a second,
God.
and just you look straight down into the tunnel, contemplating your death, because I feel like I understand that the physics are engineered so that it's not going to happen, but I feel like if I don't have a death grip on my handles, that I'm just going to tumble out of the raft, and then the raft is going to slide down right on top of me. And it does that to you a couple times in a row, if it didn't scare the crud out of you the first time.
Yeah, the pooey.
So those two, and the funny thing is that they're both where you've got two slides coming off of the same big tower, and each of them has one that's kind of fun for the whole family, and the other one that will scar you for life.
Right.
And with the funny name, the Mona and Ika Muhuna, I don't think people will necessarily know when they get in line which one they're getting, unless you specifically ask which is the one that's going to make me pray to Jesus, and which is which is the one that's my 6-year-old can tolerate.
Yeah.
Because it's a little deceptive.
Right.
The only slides that I didn't get to try were the racer raft slides, the kind you sit forward on a mat, single person.
I do believe they're called Punga races, aren't they?
Thank you very much. Punga racers were not operating during my visit.
A quick question, going back onto those body, the I'm going to even call it by its proper name because I don't actually know this one, the Kokiri body plunge.
Thank you.
Good pronunciation.
I've posted loads of pictures on Instagram, that's why I know what it's called. As someone who doesn't like to show flesh, I've seen a lot of people in the parks wearing these rash shirts or T-shirts and stuff. Now, I've heard and seen conflicting things, that some people are saying that they went up to get on those with a rash shirt on and they were told they weren't allowed to even take it up there with them. And then I've seen videos of people going on them with them. Any light you can shed on that one, Seth, for people who may be a bit shy?
I was asked to take my rash shirt off at the bottom. That's what I saw was happening the 3 days I was there. This could be a moving target. If enough people complain, maybe it could get changed. But the days that I was there, they were making you take they had little hammocks. I will say that all of the attendants have been really nice, because the last day I went there, I was only there for a few hours and I didn't want to rent a locker, and they all let me leave my iPhone with them and watch the little hammocks and make sure that no one was stealing people's stuff. So, which I liked, because the one and only time I've been robbed in my life was at Typhoon Lagoon.
I've heard that's quite common there, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I only lost my wallet and a bunch of traveler's checks, but the people near me, they lost their passports there from the UK. That's a good way to ruin your vacation.
Yeah, I bet. So let's mix in two things we've spoke about already. How did the Tapu Tapu work with the rides then, Seth? How did you find that? Because I've heard different things about, I think when it first opened, you could get the Aqua Coaster and another ride, but then the last few days I've heard you can only get that on its own.
The plan is supposed to be that you can get Aqua Coaster plus one other. But if they're having capacity problems with the Aqua Coaster, I could see them temporarily limiting it. I think it's going back and forth on a daily or maybe even hourly basis.
Yeah.
Like by the time this podcast gets heard, it could be different again. The plan, according to the travel agent training materials that I've done, is that you would get the Aqua Coaster plus one other ride.
Yeah.
I think their first line of defense was stopping selling express passes. I think they've halted that for now. That throws off the whole system.
Yeah. I think it's that thing again where, it's all new to them, and I'm sure things will change again in a month's time and again in 2 months' time. They'll adjust it to fit however things end up working out. Yeah.
I didn't, I was only there for 3 days, and one of those days was a preview day.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get to spend a ton of time using the Tapu Tapu. when I used it, I found that it generally called me back from my ride before the originally expected time, which was a nice bonus.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any serious issues using it. But I know that some people, they've been trying to adjust how many you give out versus how long you let the return line be. That's the real thing. Like if you're selling this, that you got to wait 2 hours, but when you come back, you're not going to have to wait.
Yeah.
And there's a half-hour wait on the stairs.
Yes,
that's a problem.
Yeah, we'd heard that. I mentioned a video to you, Seth, before we started recording. Yeah. I'll bring it up now. A guy from ABC, and that was his issue, that he got his 2 return times. And like one would be for an hour and a half, and then the other one would be for 2 hours. He would go back after waiting that 2 hours and have another 40-minute wait to actually get on the ride. Yeah,
which is disappointing. And I don't know what kind of technical issues the ride had. If there's downtime, that I don't think that. I think these are teething problems. I don't think the Tapu is fundamentally broken, but I think it needs time and data, and it's unfortunate that people are paying full price to provide that data that it needs. But I don't see Universal panicking and scrapping it.
No.
I think it's so fundamental to the way they intend the park to be that they're just going to have to play with limiting attendance and capacity and how they give out the reservations until they find the right mix.
Yeah.
I mean, when you speak about complaints, we'd heard that there was a lot of lines of guest services at the end of like the opening few days. Do you know what sort of compensation they were giving people, Seth?
I don't have any first-hand knowledge. I imagine that if you came and complained that you would get a refund, but you would then be escorted out of the park.
Right.
That's usually the way it works. They will give you a refund if you are unhappy enough, but you will then leave property. I like I said, I think the best solution would be if they just handed every single person who came into the park come another day free voucher.
Yeah.
Just say thank you for coming here when we know that everything isn't 100%.
I know that that ABC guy again, when he said he complained to guest services in the park, all they would say to him is, "Can I buy you a Coke?"
Can I buy you a Coke?
Yeah. Yeah, all right then. That's not going to satisfy me, but yeah, I'll have a drink.
But you don't know what fuss he'd been kicking up off camera.
No,
maybe he'd been bugging everybody, and that was just we'll just say this now.
In my experience, going up to guest services and just complaining without saying specifically what you would like to remedy the situation, their first line defense is just to listen and sympathize. Because in guest services, that's kind of the thing that most people who are complaining, the number one thing that they want is just someone to pay attention to their complaint.
Yeah, they just want to be heard.
So, they're not, every person who complains, they do not automatically jump to, can I give you a free ticket?
Yeah.
That's like the last line of defense.
Absolutely.
Well, otherwise, everybody would just go and complain just to get a free ticket.
And you don't get it by screaming and yelling either.
No.
But, if you genuinely have an issue and you can make a case for what you think the compensation should be, and you're polite about it, generally they'll go along.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when you have to wait an hour just to make your complaint because there's a lot of other people ahead of you in line.
It's that awkward thing, we've discussed it. It's like us who kind of understand how theme parks work would go into that park on opening weekend knowing that it's not going to be the best of experiences.
Absolutely. But the general public does not understand that. Yeah. The general public does not. It's not like you don't not go to see a movie on opening night because the special effects won't be finished yet. And you're like, no, I'm going to wait 2 weeks to go see the movie when they finish putting in all the music and sound of,
But then
it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. But it's that, like you say, it's that thing again, though, that even though we understand it's not going to be the complete experience, you've still paid full price to get in.
Yeah.
Sure.
it's an awkward situation because yes, I'm going in fully aware that it's not going to be what I want it to be. But
there are also people who are paying full price to go to Animal Kingdom right now, and they're waiting 2 or 3 hours for a 3.5-minute boat ride, and waiting 4 hours for a simulator ride, and then waiting another hour to get into a gift shop that doesn't have any more Banshees to sell them.
Yeah.
So, Disney, to their credit, had plenty of annual pass holder previews and soft openings, to test out Pandora for a month before they opened their doors. But even so, you see, there are long lines. I think most people are pretty happy with Pandora, like I was. But there's still things to criticize.
Absolutely. Well, let's get away from this negativity a little bit.
Yeah.
We seem to have been there. Let's get onto something.
What else can we talk about, Val? Can we talk about the slides?
Well, I was actually going on then, Trace.
I'm interested in the food.
Yes, because that's something we've heard is good.
I like to eat and I like to drink. Well, no, that sounds like an alcoholic. I'm not. I'm just like...
To heck with the lazy river. Let's talk about
it. Yeah.
Yes,
a lazy river's a lazy river's a lazy river.
To be honest, I don't really do water because it's like a bath with a lot of strangers. So I'm interested in what am I going to eat while I'm holding the coats?
So I think by now, between the preview event they held for the media a couple months ago and the 3 days I visited and the VIP party, I think I've tried just about everything they have on the menus there.
Excellent.
And it's all really good. I would go as far as to say that the overall quality is the best of any theme park in Orlando.
I have heard that.
Now, for quick service. Quick service. Obviously, there are table service restaurants like Brown Derby or maybe Mythos that are better. And, there are individual themes in the theme park like Harry Potter that have superior food. But if you're like taking a look across the whole menu, there is not one single standard hot dog or hamburger. There is an edamame burger or a hamburger with, I think it has pork belly on it. And there's a hot dog that's like 1.5 feet long on a pretzel roll with mango relish. It's impossible for any one person to eat.
Sounds like a challenge.
My favorites, the coconut shrimp was fantastic. Really, I'd say better coconut shrimp than, say, Jimmy Buffett's out in City Walk.
Okay,
right.
An ahi tuna poke, if you like sashimi, that was really good, served with plantain chips.
Oh, nice.
I just had a cold turkey salad that was kind of like a Waldorf salad with a creamy dressing and fruit, and even that was fantastic. They have a custom freestyle flavor that's like a berry punch that was really tasty. I tried. They have a beer that is brewed for them by a local brewery.
Yes, I heard that.
It's a really nice kind of light lager with kind of fruity mango. I want to say mango. It's got fruity notes to it. It was really easy to drink. The only thing that I did not care for is I tried all of their specialty cocktails. The things I do for journalism. I tried one of each of the specialty cocktails, and every single one was too sweet for me.
Right.
They have a good quality liquor. They use decent ingredients, but everything was just like syrupy, sugary. There's a watermelon one that tasted like someone dropped a Jolly Rancher into a bottle of vodka.
Wow.
It's just there was one that was sweet and spicy at the same time, which was kind of strange. But none. I like the beer, but none of the. There's also there's an elderflower cider that it is a little sweet, but it kind of reminded me of the lingonberry soda that they sell at IKEA if it was alcoholic.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah. So I would say that the food gets a huge thumbs up. I didn't have anything on the menu that I wouldn't go back and pay for, except some of those cocktails.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef Steve Jason will have been behind it, will he?
Yeah, he was there and at the events and showing off his food. He's got an executive chef, I believe. The name has escaped me right now. Who worked with him on developing the menu. So there's a lot of kind of a mix of Caribbean and South Pacific flavors. So you get, like fish tacos that were really tasty. There's a Hawaiian flatbread. I'm not a person who advocates putting pineapple and ham on pizza.
Oh,
I'll
but
have the ham.
if you're one of those people, you will like it.
Oh, it sounds good.
People who like that sort of thing will like it.
I like the pineapple. I don't like the ham.
Oh, weird.
And actually, the big surprise for me was they have curry bowls. They have you can get like a coconut curry, a green curry, or a red curry with chicken or shrimp over sticky rice. And the spice level was really, it's definitely tailored for American palates. It's not Thai hot.
Right.
But the sticky rice was really great. And the flavors were really nicely balanced. I was shocked to have that good a curry inside a theme park.
Excellent.
It's going to be interesting to see how well the restaurants and stuff do once they get the park open past sunset and which is going to bring me into. We're getting on a bit, so I'll wrap it up. But did you get to see the park after dark at all, Seth?
I stayed one day. Closing has been at 8:00, and sunset here is closer to 8:30. So I've been staying in the park until I get swept out, since they've been doing construction at night. So I didn't get to see it in its full lighting glory. I did not see any signs of glowing sand, or anything underwater like they had patents for. But I did get to see some testing on the volcano with eruptions of water and red lights, and also a lot of blue lights. They've been testing a lot with blue lights.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the blue is all about, but I don't think that what I've seen is the full range of what it can do, because they had a couple more impressive explosions during the grand opening ceremony. But I think that hopefully by the time the park is staying open until 10:00 at night, that they'll have the full range of that water and light show going.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's like, just looking at it from the day, I love going back to that entrance into the park, that it's all geared up. If you, like, we've watched a few videos, as you walk through that main entrance into the park itself, that whole view is geared up to see Krakatoa directly in front of you as you enter that park.
Yeah.
And it looks absolutely gorgeous.
It's, I mean, daytime or night, it's an incredible weenie. It's one of those moments, walking through the wall at Diagon Alley and seeing the Gringotts dragon is pretty impressive. But this, in a way, is even more impressive, because you come through this winding pathway surrounded by greenery that kind of constricts your vision, and then it opens up and you see the volcano in front of you. There's a similar setup at Typhoon Lagoon with the approach to the mountain they have there with the ship on top, but the scale at Volcano Bay is just so much grander. They did a great job with the perspective of it. So it just really seems to tower into the sky.
Yeah.
Regardless of the operations of it and stuff, it just looks phenomenal. They've done a fantastic. My only concern is something you mentioned when we were watching the videos. The colours of the slides, I wonder how long they will stay as vibrant as they are with that Florida sun on them.
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure the pigment is baked into the plastic. It's not paint. So in theory, the color should last as long as the slide does. Did you ever notice any real deterioration of the, where the boats make contact, there'll, be some abrasion.
Yes.
But on the outside, I think those are those are meant to last for the long haul.
Good.
Okay, that's good.
Good.
So personally,
Yes.
if they wanted to paint the outsides of them to give them some, theming or texture,
Yeah.
I would not complain.
Yeah, I
Some
think
tribal
they would have looked better.
doodads on and-
like, I don't want to say the word brown because it sounds nasty, but anything
It'd be more
like,
organic.
yeah, to fit in more to that
Yeah.
sort of.
And there's still, there's still stuff that can be done.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the blown out side of the mountain, the stairways are clearly incomplete. There's sections that are just bare steel.
Right.
So I think we're going to see, I know that they had to make choices. They had to prioritize what was going to be done for opening day.
Mm-hmm.
And they took things like safety and getting the actual attractions functioning above some of the fit and finish and the theming. We haven't talked at all about some of the things like Val's Cavern inside the volcano, where you'll be able to interact somehow with the spirit of the volcano. We haven't talked about it because no one has seen it. There is a bridge near the entrance to the serpentine capsule drop slides that leads over the wave pool and underneath the waterfall. And if you go far enough back there, you get blasted in the face with steam. And if you can fight your way through the wall of steam, you will find a team member standing at the entrance to a cave telling you to turn around and go the other way. So somewhere in there is Vol. There's also another entryway into the volcano that is currently boarded up. So there's still stuff that will be there to explore. And hopefully that will put a little bit more of the theme in the water theme park for me. Right now I still feel like there's a full day of activities. I could spend a full day lounging on a beach chair and eating and sitting in the lazy river.
Yeah.
And if I only did a handful of slides, I would probably still feel like I got my money's worth.
Yeah.
But that's me. If you were the Wet and Wild type person whose number one objective is to go on as many slides in a day as possible, then Volcano Bay is not your place yet. If your goal is to have the most relaxing day possible with as little stress as in a resort-like environment, and you're not as concerned about checking off attractions on a list, then it's great. Go for it.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Does it feel like you're do you feel immersed when you're inside the park, Seth, or can you? And obviously at the top of the volcano and stuff, you're going to see I-4 and stuff. But
when you're walking around, you are really never aware of the I-4. It's right to the east if you're in that one corner of the park. And they did a great job with the foliage and with placing speakers that kind of drown out whatever road noise there is.
Yeah.
There is a strip of cabanas that is closest to there. And I personally, if I was going to invest in a cabana, I would not pick those because if you're in there, you are aware of the road noise.
Right.
But 99% of the park is really, really well shielded. However, when you do climb up those towers, you obviously there's no way they can hide I-4, which on the one hand I think is kind of cool that you can see that stuff. It definitely breaks the illusion that you are in a South Seas island. But when you're on the ground walking around the park, it never really intrudes.
Yeah, that's similar to when, I remember standing at the top of Summit Plummet, and you can see pretty much all of Walt Disney World from up top of there, and it's pretty cool.
What? No,
oh yeah,
I was at the bottom.
Literally, you can see Spaceship Earth there, and there's the Tower of Terror, and there's Cinderella's Castle, and there's the Tree of Life, and it's pretty awesome.
Take your word for it.
So overall, Seth, I guess you feel it's a win at this point that can only get better.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest. I have a Premier annual pass, and it was an extra $150 to upgrade it for basically 6 months worth. I've chosen at this time to not upgrade it for myself. If I want to go back to the park, I'll buy a 1-day pass.
Yeah.
Even if I wanted to go twice before my pass is up for now, when my pass is up for renewal, I'll probably add it on.
Yeah.
But I want to give them some time to work out the bugs before I go on my own dime again.
Yeah. Fair enough.
If I had the lower level of annual pass and I had like 10 months, like if I had just bought my annual pass at the end of Mardi Gras, I would totally consider just adding on the $99. Because you don't want to be there this month.
No.
You really want to, you want to let them have the rest of the month and then maybe even a little bit of June.
Yeah.
But I think, late August, September, even into October, the weather is still great for swimming here in Orlando. And I think if they get their act together, it'll be a great place to hang out.
Yeah. In fairness, we went to Blizzard Beach in November.
Yeah, but you're Brit.
Yeah.
That was warm to us.
It was lovely. Well, I think that's a good place to stop.
It is. I mean, we could probably go for another hour, really, but yeah.
No, it's been really nice to hear a first-hand experience of it and your thoughts.
Because we've heard...
when I do get back there, and if my opinion changes, I'll be sure to let you know.
Awesome.
Excellent. And I hope that it's allayed some people's fears. Because on the whole, it's been pretty positive, I think. Yeah,
if you've got your vacation booked for the next month or two, go. Don't panic. Go have a good time. The number one thing I can suggest is you have to get there early.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're staying on site, you get an hour early entry every day. Take advantage of it. You want to get in there. You want to get your reservations for first priority is the Krakatoa Aqua Coaster. I'd say second priority is the Hanu. Third priority would be one of the drop slides if you want to do those, because those seem to be the ones that develop their longest lines fastest. And if you can get a few slides out of the way within the first hour or so, and then you can spend the peak hours just hanging out in the lazy river, or on the beach, or eating.
Yeah.
And then you can manage the Tapu Tapu reservations for some of the less popular slides as the day goes on.
Okay.
Cool.
That's good advice.
But the one thing to beware of, as far as I know, there's right now no way to keep your Tapu Tapu reservation if you leave the park.
Right.
So if you're there on site and you come in at rope drop and make a bunch of reservations, and then you exit the park to go back to your hotel or go into one of the other parks, I believe when you come back, you got to start from scratch with your Tapu Tapu.
Right.
So.
Okay.
It is what it is.
It is. I think it keeps that system fair, though, doesn't it?
And the thing to do is don't leave.
That's the equivalent of putting your towel on, getting up early to put your towel on a sun chair.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's only so long you can do that for,
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of which, the rental chairs are not a bad deal.
All right.
They start at $30.
Yes.
Depending on the time of year, I think at peak season they go up to 70, but that's for a pair.
Yeah.
With a locker. And the first thing is they're much nicer than the normal beach chairs are fine, but they're just the plastic beach chairs. Mm-hmm. These actually have some padding to it. You can adjust the back. And it's got a clamshell sunshade that does a good job of covering you up. But the locker and the waitstaff service, I think, make it worthwhile. That you can get service from various restaurants. They give you a menu that kind of compiles the best of stuff from all over the park. That alone is worth getting it for.
Oh, that's going on my list for when we go then.
Yeah,
definitely.
Cool. Awesome.
Right, Seth, would you, before we wrap up the show, would you like to plug anything?
Go on, it's
Tell
a
everybody where they can find you.
It's a standing joke now, Seth. At the end of your little things, that every week you seem to add a different outlet.
Yes. Yeah, so obviously you can find the unofficial guide to Universal Orlando in bookstores and on Amazon.com and at theunofficialguides.com. 2017 edition is out now, and I'm working on the 2018 edition as we speak. You can also find me at attractionsmagazine.com and at Orlando Weekly, and on Twitter at S Kubersky.
Yes.
I think that covers it.
And on here as well, every other week.
Of course, and I'm here every other week with the most important part of my career, the little things.
I love the little things. Actually, but there was one last week I expected you to mention. You didn't, and I'm going to bring it up. Actually, I'll ask you while you're on, just to wrap this up.
Sure.
We heard that they weren't loading the front row on Skull Island. Do you know if that's going to be kept up for any length of time?
I believe that's a test. I don't know how long that'll stick around for. It has to do with the fact that the view is not very good from that front row. And that a lot of times someone will get on the front row and complain, and then they have to be put on again in a different row.
Yeah.
I always recommend to request, I think rows 7, 8, and 9 are best, but basically anything higher than 7.
Yeah.
Just as much as which row you're in, it matters what seat you're in. Never be in the first seat or the last seat of the row.
Nice.
Because if you're all the way up against the side, it kind of ruins the effect because you can see the top of the screen. So always, take a loved one or family member and make them sit in the bad seat so that you can have a good experience.
That's what children are for.
I'm just going to say that's what kids are for.
Exactly.
Right. Well, we shall leave it there.
Yes.
Thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yes, thanks, Seth.
Yes,
This is great. Let's do it again soon.
Yes, definitely. So yes, that's been it for Lee, myself, and Seth. I hope you've enjoyed episode 252, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
That's it for another unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on iTunes, and while you're there, please leave us a rating and a review. Listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and all your podcast apps. Email us with any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com, or even better, record your message at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest, keyword UUO Podcast. Check out our blog for even more content at uuopodcast.com. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.